I actually started because of my mom. So when I told her like I want to do photography because my friend got a camera and I was like, Mom, I also want a camera. If it's a big brand who has money, I think it needs to be paid. Artists needs to be paid. I don't believe in like that artists should be hungry. No.
Hey yo, welcome to Creative Ones, and I'm your host, Chineme Prince. Today I have an amazingly talented lady with me as a guest. And I've known her for about, give or take, 3-4 years. I first saw her work when I was working on a short film. She took these amazing photographs. And then I got to know her, discovered she's even more amazing in person. So, without much further ado, Vika. Hello, love.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome on the pod. Thank you for
Thank,
coming.
thank you for inviting.
Of course. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Good.
Yeah, you nervous?
Yeah, because I'm not used to be in front of the camera.
Yeah. I get that a lot from like a lot of people that are photographers and videographers like, oh, yeah, I just like to stay behind the scene. I don't want to be seen in front. So, photography, that's your thing, right? That's what you do.
Yeah, photography plus videography plus lately trying to write some scripts and do some short movies.
Okay. When you started photography, did you start videography also, or you just starting videography now?
No, initially I started as a photographer and it started as a hobby when I was like, what, 13? And yeah, and slowly developed, started working as a photographer professionally. And then I just found out that on the camera you can also shoot videos. So I started doing that and just playing with that.
What kind of photography do you like to do?
So I'm doing different kind of photography, and it's like always complicated to explain people because like everyone expecting you to be professional in a certain type, but I don't know. I am doing a lot, but I would say I'm mainly focusing on events and commercials.
Events and commercials.
Yes.
Okay. But if you had the opportunity, if you didn't have to worry about like paying bills or anything like that, would you still do events, or would you want to do something a bit more creative, like, the gallery kind of, pictures that you can post in galleries?
You know, it's an interesting question because I was actually thinking about it.
Yeah.
I like, I love galleries. I like watching what other people are doing. But for myself, I've never imagined me doing some kind of like gallery work. I'm more about real life, let's say. So it's messy. It's as it is.
I mean, those kind of pictures would do great in a gallery. Take pictures of people, the messy life, and then just have like a gallery opening or something. People come buy some of your photographs.
Yeah, makes sense because for me, when you ask about the gallery ones, like for me, immediately I had this image about the polished pictures, like in the studio, it looks like very, very good, and I was like, these are really cool, but not me. To be honest, if not to worry about the money, I would shoot on film,
You shoot on film.
like film cameras, like these old ones.
Oh,
So that would be like what I would do with the pictures.
yeah. I've seen some of those pictures, and they're so aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. There's just something very warm about it. There's just something warm about it. What is your creative process like when you get a project? How do you start and how do you finish? What was like the thinking process that goes into it?
Basically, first thing first, if it's a new client, I always say, hey, let's meet for coffee, discuss what do you want, what is the project, what do you guys need. Then we either, depends again on the work, we doing like some sort of like storyboard and like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
sorry about
drafting.
Drafted, yeah, great.
Then actual shoot. Then, of course, you need to back up your footage, backing up footage, and then working on the footage and sending to the client saying, hey, I hope you will like what we did.
Do you ever get like difficult clients?
Yes. Hello, my clients. No, I mean, of course, like as a like in every field, you will have some difficulties with people because we're all different. But honestly, I've been super lucky to work with really cool people.
Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, we're not clicking. It's fine. I always also telling people like, hey, if you will not like working with me or something for the first time, I'm absolutely cool with that. I can recommend you someone else because I know a lot of talented people who can maybe work with you better.
It's not really you're not really all about the money. It's about having someone that you're working with being comfortable with you and building that trust in all kind of
Yep.
situation. That's actually good. What about family? Have your family always supported your photography journey?
Yes, yes. Like I, again, being super lucky with people in my life. When I just started, I think I actually started because of my mom, because my entire childhood she was filming us. So I have a lot of VHS tapes. I have a lot of film pictures, so which are like super dear to my heart.
Oh,
And yeah, so when I told her like I want to do photography because my friend got a camera and I was like, Mom, I also want a camera. So she got me a cheaper one, but she always supported me. She was buying me lenses, she was buying me newer cameras when she figured out that's like something that I want to do as a profession. She was invested in me. And yeah, and I was like, wow. Because I've seen a lot of people who's like, yeah, my parents never understood my hobby. And I was like,
yeah.
well, not never my case. My mom and my sister, they always supported me in whatever I was doing.
Ah, sweet. I remember as a kid, my dad had this old camera that I'd always
Mm.
loved to play with. I mean, I'm not a photographer. I mean, I dabble now and then, but
Hmm.
the first time I fell in love with cameras and pictures was that camera. And seeing my dad used to be some sort of photographer when he was much younger.
Okay.
So I've always had this need and hunger to take up photography.
Hmm.
So that's why I think about 2 years ago, I just, went for it, bought a camera, just took some pictures. But it's really hard to stay motivated and inspired, though, at least for me. But for you, what keeps you motivated and inspired to keep doing the photography apart from making rent, obviously? But it's like you're
That's a big thing,
artistic,
yeah.
like artistically, what keeps you motivated or inspired as a photographer?
I will repeat myself, and I think I will repeat like
Yeah.
that thing like a lot. But people keeps me motivating, not only like clients, but also my friends, my family, who just like saying some nice stuff. And when you're hearing that, it also kept kind of keeping you going. And also when you have idea, when I'm working some personal projects, that's also kind of like when it's not about only the money, because sometimes people can come to me and say, hey, I don't have money, but I want to do this project. And if it's a project that's like kind of how it goes, triggers me in a good way, so I will be like, hey, hell yeah, like I don't care about the money, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. So me and Vika have been trying to work on the project for the longest time. I just haven't figured out the project we're going to work on. Don't worry, I still got it in mind. Um, Apart from your mom, which other photographers or artists have influenced your work?
Okay, now it's gonna be embarrassing moment. No, I'm joking. I have some people because I'm teaching photography courses,
Okay.
and I always listing some cool photographers who are like not classical photographers, because of course it's like something the base that you should know.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like okay, and Lebovitz. I
Oh.
might not pronounce your name correctly right
Yeah, and
now, but like,
level weight, yeah, level weight is
but she's great. Whatever she's doing, it's like just super interesting to see. But for me, I'm finding more inspiration in someone who is not that classical, who are
okay.
working with like ordinary people, let's say.
It's almost like contemporary.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, Leibovitz also she's contemporary
Yeah,
because she's
contemporary,
still,
yeah.
but like for me, she's a classic already.
Mm,
But I'm more about someone who's like
today.
achievable or who's doing
Okay.
kind of like work that I'm like, oh my God, how she or he did it. I want to know.
Mm.
There are some list of names I can say, but like I don't think they're very like
Yeah,
very
let's
well
hear it.
known.
Who knows? Maybe there's someone out here just check them out and be inspired by them.
There is a most of them are Russians because I'm from Russia, so I'm kind
Okay.
of getting inspired from my own
Yeah, of
country.
course.
There's one guy, his name is Igor Novikov. He's an incredible photographer. He's always, I don't know, his work just like simple but like gets to the point. It's very beautiful, and also he's teaching photography, and his approach is very interesting because he always about think before click. What I really 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 appreciate.
Think before you click.
Yeah. And there are two girls who are incredible with colors. One is her name is Paulina Washington on Instagram. Like her work is amazing, man. How she's working with the colors, and she's actually You know how in pictures when you edit and you're trying to reduce certain colors,
Yeah.
which are calls I don't remember how, this term in English, but it's kind of like incorrect colors that's not supposed to be in the picture.
Yeah.
So you're trying to reduce them. Usually it's green and magenta,
Okay.
but for her she's the opposite. She's like bursting the color, and it's like very interesting. So if you guys want, check her out.
Like every other career path or every other work of art, you must face some challenges. Which are the biggest ones?
Ooh. I would say when you feel like burned out, this is the biggest challenge, because for me, photography started as a hobby, as something that I absolutely love doing. And then when you're doing something that you like, that's your passion, you kind of forget that you need the rest, you need to switch off to something else, you need to come back to life. So, and after ignoring some signals from your body or from your mental state, I don't know if it's a thing.
Yeah, man, mistake works.
Yeah, you just ignore them, then you feel burned out and you don't want to do anything. And actually, like the hardest one was when I remember I had a project, I was working on it, and I don't know, just like a lot of things were happening. And I remember I'm just sitting on the pavement and I'm just crying because I don't want to go home. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to open my laptop and see the pictures, nothing. And I remember my client calling me, like asking for these pictures, and I'm picking up like crying, like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything right now. And he's like, no, please take your time. Yeah, relax, chill, all good. Yeah, send it tomorrow. It's fine. Yeah, so I would say burning out. And I was keep hearing from a lot of people who are in the art field that's
yeah.
like burning out is a big thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. Everyone goes through it every once in a while. It's also like creative block. You know, it's also like a very, very challenging part of being an artist. Um, Speaking of that, how do you tackle your creative block whenever you feel like you have a project but you don't know how to go about it? How do you tackle that? I had someone I had someone tell me that they just let it be. If they have a creative block, they just let it be and go do something else, and eventually it will come to them. How do you treat your own creative blocks?
That's actually like what I
No,
would
you
say
know.
I also do in that. Like, okay, for example, if it's editing videos, for example, if I'm stuck with cutting the footage and I can't like hear that person anymore, with all my respect, but if I'm like bored already,
Yeah,
like because
no, of
you
course.
keep hearing like the same thing for like all
Yeah,
over again.
true.
So like, okay, I'll switch to coloring now. So I'll do coloring and then I'll come back to cutting and like doing finalizing, and or if not coloring, okay, I'll go and find the music. I might do it absolutely wrong, but like that's the way
Yeah,
I'm
you're
doing it.
learning.
Yeah, with the picture same. If I'm done with like coloring, I'll maybe switch to another project to do selection for those pictures and then come back to the color grading again. So it's like always like switching between like these small steps. That's what keep like helps me.
Interesting.
Yeah. If it's writing, by the way, with the writing, it's like just keep writing. Like
Okay.
anything, just like if it's like even like hello. So then you start just from one word, one phrase, and then like just like wow, I wrote a page, and then wow, I wrote a script.
Interesting. That's actually quite insightful because I'm not a writer, can't write to save my life, but that sounds like something that would help someone that is trying to write stuff get better at it. I think I've also heard that somewhere. It's like even if you're going through a whole creative block as a writer, just keep writing,
Yeah.
and then eventually you find something that makes sense. Yeah, I know that you do improv.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I know you do improv.
I do.
If I'm being correct, you just started that not too long ago, was it?
No, to be honest, I started like pretty a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say seriously, I started 2021.
21.
So like
Okay.
3 years already. And it's like my favorite type of hobby that's not
Okay.
bringing me money or anything. So it's just like something that I truly enjoy.
Why do you like improv though? Is it because of how on the spot it throws you, or just makes you, I don't know, gets you out of your comfort zone or something like that?
Get out of comfort zone, that's for sure. Also, I've noticed like from these 3 years that I was doing improv, it helped me in real life because I'm a very shy person. But because of improv, because like you have this, okay, you just jump in and then you think.
Mm.
So that's kind of what I'm doing now. Even when I was teaching, I remember I was like forgetting words because again, English not my first language. So I was like, and then like, okay, guys, and I'm just describing them what I mean, and they're like, oh, this is the word. Like, okay, cool, and we keep going. So it's kind of like helps me not to overthink stuff.
Mm. Huh. Interesting. Improv. I've been acting a long time, but improv, like the way you guys do it, I always find it kind of hard to just go in there. But recently, I've been trying to do more of that kind of stuff because I do some gigs where I have to do a lot of improv, so I have to do that. I'll be honest, it still scares me, but I do enjoy it. I do whenever I get myself in there. I do like the spontaneity of it all. So maybe I'll continue doing it. Who knows?
Please do, please do
Maybe
it.
I'll continue doing it. We all collaborate as artists, as professionals. We all collaborate every once in a while. Has there been a collaboration that has been the most rewarding for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all met through one space. I don't know if we can say names in here.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So, where I'm doing improv, it's a place called Studio Republic, where I
Yeah.
met 90% of my friends here are from that place.
Mm,
So I think that's the most rewarding experience. And two of my closest friends now is kind of people with whom I'm doing majority of like
mm.
film, movie, short movies,
Yeah, short films,
short
yeah.
film
Show
shoots.
reels and stuff.
Yeah, and man, like it's just we clicking. We when we are doing something together, we don't need to even talk much. We just like, okay, we're doing this, and it's like blah blah blah, and it's like connection. That's like what I figured is like super rare to find. So I'm super grateful for those people in my life.
That's beautiful. I almost cry. I
Yeah,
almost cry.
I will give you a tissue.
This whole what's it called? Was it trade for print or just doing work for exposure culture that we have around the world, not just here? I mean, I understand it when you're still starting in any profession, work for free to get some exposure. But when you've reached a certain level, I think it doesn't make sense to accept that kind of thing anymore because obviously it's not going to pay rent. What do you think of that? Have you ever had like people now where you're at in your career, like you have big companies or some people that just don't want to pay? They say, "Oh, it will give you some kind of popularity or what." Have you had people come to you for that, and what was your response like to them?
You know, I'm just like I'm analyzing it. I don't think big companies were coming for me and saying like, "Hey, we don't have money. We just like give you exposure." No, like that's not the case.
Mm,
For me, sometimes some small brands come in and say, "Hey, we like your work, but we don't have budget," and
mm,
then we can figure it out with them. Because I always believe that it's needed to be supportive
yeah,
of smaller brands.
yeah.
And so that's why if I find the project interesting, I'm like, okay, guys, we can do this and then this is your budget, and I understand, I respect that, so we can work with that.
Mm,
Yeah, sometimes I'm doing that. Sometimes if I feel like I can take some project for free because it's just like passionate project and I really interested in it, yeah, I can do
mm,
that. But I agree with you that if it's a big brand who has money, I think it needs to be paid. Artists needs to be paid. I don't believe in like that artists should be hungry. No,
no,
artists need to be paid.
ain't nobody looking to be a struggling artist these days. Everyone has to pay rent. Um, what's the best advice you've ever gotten, not just in your career, but like in life?
Actually, one of my friend, he said, "There's no right or wrong," because I was always in a kind of way when I'm like, "Oh no, maybe I'm doing something wrong." Maybe it's like, and art is not math. There's
Mm,
no a formula that you can just like rely on.
mm,
It's always subjective, and I'm always was like too critical to myself. Like, oh, maybe what I'm doing is stupid. Maybe it's not worth it or something. But then when I've heard that first time, my friend said like, "There's no right or wrong," I was like, yeah, it's actually true.
yeah,
It's super simple, but like it keeps sticking with me. So like, yeah.
interesting. And I'm sure maybe some of the viewers that we're going to have, that we have, are upcoming photographers or people that are trying to do photography or just any form of art, really. What would be your own advice based off of what you've been given as an advice? What would be your own advice to them, like upcoming photographers or people that just want to do photography for the first time? What would you tell them?
Keep doing it. just not overcomplicate stuff because yeah, of course when you just start and you like, oh my god, what I'm doing is not how I imagine in my head, and when I see, for example, on the screen, it's absolutely two different things. But it will come with practice. When I started, people were telling me like, why are you doing this? When I was okay, after I graduated school, when I was in uni, I was bringing my portfolio to some big cool professors from like Moscow University, blah blah blah, and they were like, I don't think you need to continue doing that. And I'm like, no, okay, okay, sure, why not? And I remember once I was calling my mom like, yeah, maybe I need to stop doing that. And then she asked me like, okay, what else you can do? I'm like, no, nothing. Photography is the only thing that I'm doing. She's like, yeah, then keep doing it. So my advice would be just keep doing it. Don't be afraid of to fail. You will fail. Like it happens with everyone, and doesn't matter how long you're doing it. I'm keep failing sometimes, a lot of times, but but yeah, it's part of life, and what makes it fun. We learning from these
Yeah.
failings. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, failings. Failure. Someone once said failure is how you learn how to
that's the
live
word.
life. You know,
Yeah,
you just have to fail. You have to be okay with failing.
for sure.
Just don't stay down there. Learn something from it, and then move on to the next phase of your life. Um, Before we go, I
Oh,
have just one more question for you. Pictures, vintage, um, ones where we had like Polaroids. Do you think those are making a comeback?
I would say whatever makes you happy.
Mm,
Because for me, I am enjoying shooting on film. A lot of people would say it's like a waste of money because film nowadays is expensive to develop it. It's expensive, and you can watch a bunch of tutorials where people teaching you how to edit that the picture will look like film. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of pictures will look like film,
okay.
and maybe at certain point you will not even be able to see the difference.
Mm,
But if you enjoying it, if you like shooting on film, if you like shooting on Polaroid, you can always combine. I think that's the beauty of technology and art, and you
yeah.
can combine them with the new technologies.
Mm,
That's the beauty of it. And I think even like with AI, it also helps us to develop new stuff that's going to be even more interesting.
that's sound. That's sound. So
Mm.
Polaroids are a good thing. I mean, I love my Polaroids. They
Yeah,
are
I
like
mean, I
the
love mine
cursive.
too.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of when I was a kid. Like, I would see all those pictures my parents had taken when I was a baby. Even the ones with my dad with his afro that he wouldn't.
Yeah, you
He
see?
wouldn't let me keep if I have an afro or something. But Vika, it's been really lovely talking to you, babe.
Likewise, I enjoyed it
Yeah, I know.
more than I expected. No, it was really, really cool. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming. All right. There you have it, folks. That was Vika. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful time listening to this amazing, amazing artist. Check out our work. Her Instagram is going to be somewhere here, somewhere. So check it out. Check out our work. And also, as usual, follow us on all our socials: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, yada, yada, yada. And we'll update you on every episode because we'll be dropping every week. See you next time.